Hi students, today we are going to learn about accuracy testing of machine tools. In this video, we are going to learn about accuracy testing of machine tools such as geometrical parameters. Let's first go through to the job sequence and move on to the skill sequence.
Objectives of this video are: to check the level of a center lathe, to check the true running of the lathe spindle, to check the alignment of the main spindle and the tailstock spindle of a lathe, to check the parallelism of the tailstock sleeve with respect to bed ways, to perform practical test on turned component. Job sequence. The dial gauge should be fixed on the carriage. The quill of the tailstock should be projected to the maximum extent possible and lock it. Use a dial test indicator to check the quill's horizontal and vertical positions. During each measurement, clamp the quill. Place the dial plugger to contact over the free end of the quill in the vertical plane. Set the dial at 0 position. Move the carriage slowly towards the entire length of the quill. At the extreme end of the quill, note dial reading. Verify the deflection of the dial reading and compare the value with the test chart supplied. Set the dial horizontally and repeat the above procedure for checking in the horizontal plane. The test mandrel should be fixed into the tailstock spindle. To test the accuracy of the tailstock spindle in the vertical and horizontal positions, repeat the same procedure. Checking the tailstock. Insert a hollow test mandrel 300 to 500 mm long in between the centers. Make sure that the spindle bearing is at its working temperature. Fix the dial gauge. On the saddle, the plunger touching a position of the mandrel and set it to 0. The dial plunger should be set at the top of the mandrel, and the saddle should be moved along the bed to the entire length of the mandrel. The reading of the dial should be observed as the saddle moves along the beds and note for variation if any. The tailstock center must be higher than the spindle center within the permissible limit. The deflection of the dial gauge reading should be verified and compared with the value of the test chart. Checking the true running of a spindle. Locate the taper shank of the test mandrel in the spindle taper. The dial gauge should be held stationary in the carriage. Its plunger contacting the mandrel near its free end and set it to 0 position. Rest the dial gauge plunger at right angles radially to the surface to be tested. The spindle should be rotated along with the mandrel slowly by hand. Observe and note the reading of the dial gauge. Move the dial gauge near the spindle nose. Rotate the spindle along with the mandrel slowly by hand and note the reading. While the spindle is slowly rotated, take readings of the dial gauge. The deflection of the dial reading should be verified and compared with the value of the test chart. Skill sequence. The objective of the skill sequence is to adjust the spirit level with the plane surface. Move the spirit level on the plane surface until the bubble is in the center of the scale. Place a straight edge against the level and clamp to the plate. Turn the level through 180 degrees and forend and place against the straight edge and note the displacement of the bubble. Adjust the while to half of the total displacement of the bubble. Repeat the above sequence until the level is turned and forend without displacement of the bubble. Level the lathe bed. Level the lathe horizontally with the help of a spirit level. Position the carriage in the middle of the bed. Keep the spirit level on the rear slideway, that is, the slide which is opposite to the operator side, longitudinally at the position A. Keep the second spirit level transversely at the position C. Take the readings of both the spirit levels. The level of the bed should be adjusted till both the spirit levels show the same reading. The sequence of operation should be repeated till both the spirit levels show the same reading in all positions A, B, C and D. Let's quickly recap. The steps include fixing a dial gauge on the carriage, checking quill alignment vertically and horizontally, confirming tailstock center alignment, and evaluating spindle true running with test mandrels. Spirit levels are used to precisely level the lathe bed through bubble displacement adjustments. We aligned the bed longitudinally and transversely based on spirit level readings.
I hope that you have understood everything taught in this video. I will see you in another interesting and exciting videos. Thank you and goodbye until then.